Imagine waking up tomorrow morning and feeling exactly the same as you did when you went to bed. Not rested, not refreshed, just heavy, like sleep never happened at all. Your eyes open, but your body feels like it's still fighting something in the dark. You think, maybe I just didn't sleep long enough. Maybe I'm just getting older. But here's the thing that most people never stop to question. What if it isn't age at all? What if your body is trying to send you a signal that almost nobody is talking about, not even your own doctor? Because right now, millions of seniors across America are waking up exhausted every single morning, not because of how old they are, but because of something happening inside their bodies that is completely fixable. And yet, they keep blaming the years. They keep assuming tired is just part of the deal when you reach a certain age. That assumption, as harmless as it sounds, could be quietly stealing years from your life. Stay with me, because what you're about to hear may completely change the way you understand your own body. Before we go any further, if you've ever dragged yourself out of bed feeling like you never slept, or if you love someone who seems permanently worn down no matter how much rest they get, please take a moment right now to like this video and subscribe to Dr.Selric. We share information here that your body actually needs, the kind of honest, clear, caring health content that older adults in this country deserve but rarely receive. Hit that subscribe button, and let's make sure you never miss a video like this one. Now let's talk about what is really going on. For a long time, doctors and researchers assumed that fatigue in older adults was simply a natural consequence of aging. The thinking was straightforward. Cells slow down, hormones decline, the body doesn't recover as efficiently. And while there is some biological truth in that, it is far from the whole picture. In fact, it may not even be the most important part of the picture. What emerging research is now revealing is that chronic morning exhaustion in seniors is often driven by a set of overlooked, underdiagnosed, and very treatable underlying conditions. And the tragedy is that most people suffer through them for years, sometimes decades, without ever knowing there was something that could actually be done. So let's start pulling back the curtain, one layer at a time. The very first hidden culprit, and perhaps the most shockingly common one, is something called sleep apnea. Now, you may have heard that word before, but here's what most people don't realize. Sleep apnea doesn't always come with loud snoring. That's one of the biggest myths in senior health. You can have sleep apnea and never know it. You might not even move much in the night. But what's happening is that your airway is partially collapsing while you sleep, cutting off your oxygen supply for brief moments, sometimes hundreds of times a night. Your brain jolts you awake just enough to breathe again, but not enough for you to remember it. You wake up thinking you slept fine, but your body never actually made it into the deep, restorative stages of sleep where real healing happens. Studies suggest that sleep apnea affects somewhere between 30 and 50% of adults over the age of 60, and the vast majority of them have never been tested for it. Think about that. Nearly half of all seniors could be walking around with a condition that is quietly robbing them of rest, vitality, and even brain health, and they are being told it is just aging. That is not just unfortunate, it is heartbreaking. And sleep apnea doesn't stop at tiredness. Untreated, it raises the risk of heart disease, stroke, memory problems, and high blood pressure. So if you or someone you love wakes up exhausted despite sleeping 7, 8, even 9 hours, please don't ignore that. Ask a doctor specifically about a sleep study. Not all doctors bring this up on their own, but you have every right to ask. Now here's where things get even more interesting and a little surprising. One of the most overlooked causes of chronic morning fatigue in older adults has nothing to do with sleep at all. It has to do with what's happening in your gut. Yes, your digestive system. Research over the past decade has transformed how scientists understand the gut-brain connection, and what they've found is remarkable. The bacteria living in your digestive tract, trillions of them, have a profound influence on how your brain functions, how your mood is regulated, and critically, how well you sleep and recover from sleep. In older adults, the diversity of gut bacteria tends to decline naturally. But when the balance tips too far, when the beneficial bacteria are outnumbered by harmful strains, the body begins producing higher levels of inflammatory compounds. These compounds travel through the bloodstream and reach the brain, disrupting the production of serotonin, which is not just a mood chemical but is also a critical building block for melatonin, the hormone that governs your sleep cycle. In other words, An unhealthy gut can sabotage your sleep from the inside out, and no amount of going to bed earlier will fix that if the root cause is never addressed. What can help? Feeding your gut the right foods. Fermented foods like yogurt, kefir, kimchi, and sauerkraut introduce beneficial bacteria. High-fiber vegetables like asparagus, onions, and garlic feed the good bacteria that are already there. And reducing sugar, processed foods, and alcohol gives those good bacteria a fighting chance to thrive. This is not complicated. It doesn't require a prescription, but it does require awareness. And that's exactly what this channel is here to give you. Let's keep going because we are just getting to the part that surprises most people the most. Have you ever had your thyroid checked? Many seniors have had a standard thyroid test done at some point, and if it came back normal, they assumed their thyroid was fine and moved on. But here's what most people are never told. The standard thyroid test does not always catch a condition called subclinical hypothyroidism, where the thyroid gland is functioning but just barely. Just enough to pass a basic screening. Not enough, however, to give your body the energy it needs to truly restore itself during sleep. The thyroid gland is essentially your body's master regulator. It controls metabolism, body temperature, heart rate, and cellular energy production. When it slows down even slightly, the effects ripple through every system in your body. You feel cold more often. Your thinking feels foggy. Your digestion slows. And no matter how long you sleep, you wake up feeling drained, because your cells are not getting the signal they need to fully recharge overnight. This condition is especially common in women over 60, and it often develops so gradually that it becomes invisible until someone runs the right tests and looks at the full picture, not just the basic numbers. If you have been exhausted for months or years and your thyroid has only been minimally tested, it may be worth asking your doctor for a more comprehensive thyroid panel. You may be surprised by what you find. And speaking of things that develop gradually without anyone noticing, let's talk about iron and B12 deficiency. Both of these are extraordinarily common in older adults, and both can cause a level of fatigue that feels absolutely crushing. B12 in particular is something your body absorbs less efficiently as you age, because the stomach produces less of the acid needed to break it down from food. This happens slowly, quietly, and without any dramatic symptoms at first. But over time, low B12 can cause extreme tiredness, weakness, and even nerve damage and cognitive decline if it goes untreated for too long. Iron deficiency has a similar pattern. It quietly reduces the amount of oxygen your red blood cells can carry. So even though you're breathing fine, your muscles and organs are running on less fuel than they need. The result is a heaviness, a fatigue that settles into your bones. Many people describe it as feeling like they are moving through water. They assume it is arthritis or depression or just age, but it is often something as correctable as a vitamin deficiency. A simple blood test can check both of these. If you have not had your B12 and iron levels checked recently, that is worth adding to your next appointment. These are not exotic, hard-to-find solutions. They are basic nutrients that your body may be desperately missing. Now let's talk about something that is a little harder to discuss, but incredibly important. Emotional and psychological exhaustion. This is the kind of tiredness that sleep cannot touch, and it is far more widespread in the senior population than most health conversations acknowledge. When older adults lose a spouse, when they feel socially isolated, when they watch their independence slowly shrink, when they carry the weight of health worries and financial stress and grief, the nervous system responds by entering a prolonged state of low-grade stress. Cortisol, the body's primary stress hormone, stays elevated. And chronically elevated cortisol is one of the most powerful disruptors of sleep quality known to medicine. It delays deep sleep. It causes you to wake in the early hours of the morning with your mind already racing. It prevents your body from doing the tissue repair and memory consolidation that sleep is designed to provide. And then you wake up exhausted. And you think it's age, but it is grief. It is loneliness. It is unprocessed emotion living in your nervous system, waking up with you every single morning. This is why connection matters so deeply for senior health. Not as a nice-to-have, but as a biological necessity. Social engagement, meaningful conversation, laughter, purpose, belonging. These are not luxuries. They are nutrients for the nervous system. And when they are missing, the body pays the price, including in the quality of your sleep. Here at Dr. Selric, We believe that no one should have to suffer silently through exhaustion and assume it is simply the price of growing older. You deserve better answers than that. And the good news, and this is genuinely good news, is that there are real, practical steps you can take starting today. One of the most powerful things you can do is begin protecting what sleep researchers call sleep hygiene. This means keeping your sleep and wake time consistent, even on weekends. Going to bed and waking at the same time every day signals your internal clock and dramatically improves sleep quality. It means making your bedroom as dark and cool as possible, because body temperature naturally needs to drop slightly for deep sleep to begin. It means turning off screens at least an hour before bed, because the blue light they emit blocks melatonin production in a way that genuinely delays the onset of restful sleep. Beyond sleep hygiene, try adding a 10 to 15-minute gentle walk outside in the morning. Natural sunlight in the morning hours resets your circadian rhythm, the internal biological clock that governs when your body expects to sleep and when it expects to be awake. This single habit, simple and completely free, has been shown in research to improve sleep quality and reduce daytime fatigue more consistently than many supplements. Hydration is another piece that gets underestimated. Mild dehydration causes fatigue that most people mistake for hunger or just tiredness. As we age, the sensation of thirst becomes less reliable, so it is entirely possible to be consistently underhydrated without ever feeling particularly thirsty. Drinking a full glass of water first thing in the morning, before coffee, before breakfast, before anything, gives your body something it genuinely needs to begin functioning properly. And then there's magnesium. This one mineral, often overlooked, plays a role in over 300 biochemical processes in the body, including the regulation of the sleep-wake cycle. Low magnesium is linked to poor sleep quality, nighttime restlessness, muscle cramps that wake you in the middle of the night, and an inability to reach deep, restorative sleep stages. Foods like pumpkin seeds, dark leafy greens, black beans, and almonds are naturally rich in magnesium, and many healthcare providers consider magnesium glycinate supplements to be safe and gentle for older adults. Always talk to your doctor before adding anything new, but this is a conversation absolutely worth having. Now, before we close, there is something else that almost never gets mentioned when talking about senior fatigue, and it is something that may apply to more people watching this right now than you might expect. Many common medications prescribed to older adults list fatigue as a side effect, but that side effect is often dismissed or simply not mentioned during the appointment. Blood pressure medications, antihistamines, diuretics, statins, certain antidepressants, all of these can interfere with sleep quality, energy levels, and how refreshed you feel in the morning. This does not mean you should stop taking any medication. Please do not do that. But it does mean that if you are on multiple medications and you are chronically exhausted, it is completely reasonable to have a conversation with your doctor about whether any of your prescriptions might be contributing to the problem. Ask them directly. Print out this question and bring it to your next appointment if you need to. You have every right to that conversation, and a good doctor will take it seriously. You have made it this far in this video, and that tells me something important about you. It tells me you are not willing to just accept exhaustion as your new normal. You are not willing to stop asking questions or looking for better answers. And that spirit, that refusal to give up on your own health, is exactly the kind of energy that leads to real change. So here is what we would love for you to do right now. Scroll down to the comments and share your story. Have you been waking up exhausted every morning? Have you been told it is just part of getting older? Have you discovered a cause that no one initially thought to check for? Your experience might be exactly what someone else needs to hear. This community is built on people helping people, and your voice matters here. And if you have a friend, a parent, a sibling, a neighbor, anyone you care about who starts every day feeling worn down and doesn't know why, please share this video with them. It takes 30 seconds. It could give them something they have been missing for years. A real answer, and a real reason to feel hopeful. You are not put on this earth to spend your mornings recovering from sleep. You were made to wake up with enough life in you to actually live it. Your body is always talking to you. The question is whether anyone is helping you listen, and that is what we will always try to do here. Take good care of yourself. You deserve nothing less.